time on it. I can burp once. It was just a little baby burp.
It was literally like right at the
Yeah.
second that the burp came out of your mouth.
Yeah. And we're back.
And we are back.
For fuck's sake.
For episode 94.
I beat you to it.
Yes, you did.
Game 94. B94. B94. I tell you, I called my dad tonight because they're in Florida and he's been gone. I was like, oh, I haven't talked to my dad in almost 10 days. What the fuck? So I called him and I was like, hey, I haven't talked to you in a while. How you doing? Like, what's up? Oh, we're getting ready to head out to play bingo. So
I was like, play what? Volleyball? What are they playing?
You need anything? No, it's just gambling the whole entire time. Yeah, it's something on, something going on. Oh, I just wanted to talk to you, but I mean,
you don't have to if you don't want to. So goodbye, Richard.
Like, okay, bye. It was like, is the prettiest girl in the world there? And I was like, me? It was like Sophie, and I was like, oh, good.
I mean, I made her, so
now I'll know my place next time. I won't say it. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Apologize.
I'm just never gonna call you again. So
stepped out of turn. Excuse me.
The fuck was I thinking trying to call my dad?
Fuck me, right?
I'm so stupid.
Dumbass.
Oh my God. Okay. So today we are going to do a requested topic that we got in our inbox from a new listener, which was really nice and refreshing.
Very refreshing.
Yeah, we got it about a week ago and I was like, yeah, we will definitely do it when we finish our Atomic Habits series. So I'm just going to actually read the question because there's kind of multiple parts to it. And I feel like the easiest way to address it would be to read the whole thing.
Yeah.
So first of all, it says, hello, I just recently found your podcast and really like you all so far. So far, girl, you're going to like us forever.
You're going to love us, bitch. Oh, you're going to love us.
I had a potential topic of discussion. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to ask it here or if there was a different way you all preferred. If so, please let me know. Anyway, my topic idea was cut off culture in regards to dating. Also, the amount of communication that you all would deem appropriate when dating someone you aren't living with. For reference, I was talking to this guy and in the beginning, the communication was great. We would talk basically every day and now his communication is very flighty. Some days I hear from him throughout the week and other times he will go 4 days without really texting and I kind of spiral with anxious thoughts. First and foremost, I think a lot of people can relate to this in some way, shape, or form, whether it's current dating situations, previous dating situations, no matter what it is. I think the initial kind of topic is like cutoff culture, right? And so what I interpret that to mean is like, how do you know when to cut somebody off in dating, right? Like cancel culture is a real thing throughout the world with, you know, everybody and anybody. But my assumption is maybe she's trying to ask, excuse me, when do you know how to like end a situation? And then the second part being, you know, what do we think is an appropriate amount of communication? And then just kind of processing through maybe how to stop yourself from anxious spirals when the communication changes. Would you agree?
I'm gonna let you know I was not listening to anything you said because I was trying to look up the definition of cutoff culture, right? So I'm like trying to look it up to like have a specific thing because I feel like there can be, so we are on social media, but I would not say that we're on all facets of social media.
Oh,
like
God,
today, no. I even learned about a whole new fucking app from one of my teens. I can't even remember the name, but it's like an alarm goes off, like a reminder goes off and you take a picture of like yourself and something else.
One of my clients told me about it too. And she's like, you don't know what that is? And I was like, no. And that sounds stupid. I'm not doing that.
It's dumb as fuck. Anyways, so I was like trying to look it up to make sure that like we were like knowing the right thing, but like there's no fucking specific definition that
to me it sounds like not ghosting, but like when to just cut somebody off that you're like, you know, weeding people out in the dating world.
Well, so guys. So I feel like that's I don't I think that you and I are going to therapeutize it. Whereas I think in maybe real life cutoff culture looks like you did something I don't like.
Goodbye.
Yes,
correct. That's not how we operate though.
Right. So I think that we have to view it potentially from that aspect of like, just like somebody does something and you're like, I don't like it. But
I
think
like, that's how people view boundaries.
Is this like our type of ghosting?
Kind of. That's how I take it. Because here's the thing. I think that people view doing that as, well, I'm setting a boundary. No, you're not. You're not communicating anything.
You didn't say anything. There's no boundary being set.
Correct.
You have to communicate what you mean. So I guess the first part, read the first section first, and let me just answer that. Because the first we got to break it into segments because I didn't even take my ADHD medicine today. I was literally in my
I don't know how you survived the day then.
Like, I don't. I was in my fourth session yawning, and I was like, why am I such okay.
So the first sentence is, my topic idea was cut off culture in regard to dating. Then the next part goes into communication.
Okay. So cut off culture in regards to dating. In my mind, I'm viewing cut off culture as like what ghosting is.
Yes.
So I guess that's just how I'm going to proceed. And please, if you're listening to this, listener who is new, please message us and let us know. You can message us on anything. We don't care. But message us on anything and let us know if we are responding appropriately. If not, I would love to do either a story or just like a follow-up thing to answer your question more thoroughly. But in my mind, it to me, it looks like ghosting. So like, I'm just not going to say anything. But here's the thing, like you and I both just said, if you are not discussing the reason that you were pulling back from this person or setting a boundary with this person or saying like, hey, I didn't like that, or hey, this is upsetting me, we're not growing at all. We're not growing. We're just stagnant. We're not
repeating
growing.
The same patterns.
Yeah, exactly. We're repeating the exact same patterns, if not worse, because we're just ignoring. Excuse me, and just moving through things, not moving through things. We're just ignoring and pushing things past us until eventually it all starts to pile up and then it creates this bigger issue. When in reality, I think cutoff culture is toxic as fuck. Ghosting is toxic as fuck. Say the reason you don't want to be in a relationship with that person. Tell them face to face. When I started dating, I set these rules for myself, and fucking awkward as it was, I had to have these conversations with people of like, this is what I'm not going to do. Just left a relationship where I'm not going to be somewhere where someone's fucking yelling at me like we're done.
I actually don't want to go on a second date with you because you referred to me as a cucumber. Thank you though.
I don't want to go on a second date with you because you use first and foremost, you took me fucking mini golfing on a date.
And you said you were 5'10" and you were 5'6".
I would rather eat dog food than mini golf. I would rather get them gains of protein than fucking mini golf. Mini golfing to me is the epitome.
It's rage filled for me.
When I tell you,
you want me to act like Happy Gilmore out here in the streets? Because I will.
On site. You asked me to do a date on mini golf. It's going to be a tussle. It's going to be a tussle. Are you joking me? And then you tap my ass with the fucking what is it? A putter? I don't know what it is. The little thing you tap me. I will fucking be like, are you joking? And then you want to go on a fucking walk and try to hold my hand. I'm too old for this. What are we doing? Anyway, so I let him know. That could have been one that I fucking booked it from. I could have ran. But when I got home and had some time to decompress, and after the fucking psycho was like, hey, I think you should come spend a week out where I live.
I remember that.
With me. And I was like, oh, well, I value my life, so I won't be. I have a child, so here's what we're not going to do. And then I would explain, hey, I don't feel the same way about you that you feel about me, blah, blah, blah. And sure, people are going to get fucking mad and upset, but here's the thing. I'm not managing other people's expectations. That's not my fucking problem. If I don't like you, I don't like you. I'm not going to fucking enter into a relationship with you because you like me. Okay.
I was thinking about this too from the point of view, like I don't date. I just don't. But I'm thinking about it from like a therapist standpoint. I would rather you let me know this isn't working. I need to find somebody else than you just stop showing up to session and I have no idea why.
Stephanie, when I tell you my first session, at the end of it, I talk about what type of therapist I am, what type of therapy I do. And in my spiel, I say, I would rather you say that this isn't working so I can help you find somebody else versus you trying to placate my feelings. My ego does not live in this room.
Correct.
It
I
does
say
not-
you're not
I
gonna hurt
do
my
not-
feelings.
I don't get anything from whether you want to see me or not.
Mm-mm.
That's fucking weird
Mhm.
and also just not purposeful.
Yep.
I give to myself before I give to anybody else. You do not fucking feed my soul.
Mhm.
When I have clients who make progress and things like that, sure, absolutely. I love that. But that's not the only thing that's driving my sense of self, my ego, my self-worth, things
Mhm.
like that. I would much rather you say, hey, Mari, I didn't like that. No,
Mhm.
thank you. I don't, I'd rather blah, 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 whatever it is. Okay. My goal is to help people, not to have you say shit to placate me. We're not doing that.
Mhm.
Okay, second part. Hopefully that answered, sweetheart. If it didn't, please message us. Please let us know.
The amount of communication that you and I, me and you, would
Mhm.
all deem appropriate when dating somebody you aren't living with.
What year is it? What year are we going with? What year?
I was gonna say, I can only speak to this from fucking 2006 to 2009 when I wasn't living with my ex-husband. You were with Jeff though for a long time without living together.
Oh, a long time without living together. And I could even go as far as my marriage because he was deployed.
That's true.
And like trying to be like, if I talk to him this much, he won't cheat on me.
Mm-hmm.
Bitch, you thought? Anyways, so I think that first and foremost, we can't. Did I just cut you off? I'm sorry.
You're fine.
First and foremost, I don't feel like our interpretation, our perception fits everybody else's
Correct.
life.
Mhm.
We all have different lives. We all have different needs. We all have different schedules. So I don't think that it's fair to compare against us. However, if you are inquiring because maybe you don't have a lot of people in your life who model healthy boundaries and you're attempting to set up some own boundaries for yourself, first of all, kudos to you. I applaud you. That's extremely difficult when you don't have a tribe of people around you, and I will be happy to give you our input. In the beginning of mine and Jeff's relationship, I was like, he didn't message me for a week, so clearly he fucking hates me. What are we doing? I even so much so, he messaged me on a Sunday and we set up our date. And then it was Friday because we were supposed to go on a date on Saturday. It was Friday and he had not messaged me yet. So I texted him and I was like, hey,
Hi.
how y'all doing? No, I was like, are we still on for tomorrow? I haven't heard from you. It was something to that effect. And it was like, yeah, we're on for tomorrow, blah, 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 like reconfirmed or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay.
I remember reminding her often of like, Mari, he drives a semi all day. He can't really text like we can from our desk.
Literally drives a semi all day. What are you doing? What's your problem? Why?
And then I just kept trying to be the positive best friend of like, this is teaching you patience though. Like maybe he's not a good texter. Like maybe he, because in our brain we're like, he fucking hates me. He hates me. He doesn't even want to do it. He's doing this out of like pity. He doesn't even like me, right?
Oh my God, I can't tell you how many times I was like, he's pitying me because I'm Tara's little sister who's getting a divorce. He hates me. Bitch, we're on the almost the anniversary of him moving in. 3 years.
Wow. That's wild.
He still sucks at texting. So I think it realistically depends on first and foremost the person and how they text. And then 2, what stage is your relationship in, right? Because in the very beginning, I feel like you want to gain all this information and this knowledge. And
there's so much to talk about,
right? There's so much to talk about. And I'll say that as a therapist, my favorite session is the initial intake. I want to know everything about you. Yeah. I want to know all the pieces. I want, that's exciting to me. And then as it tapers off, I'm like, oh, I don't know what you're doing. And same with dating, whatever. So getting to the point where now fucking September will be 7 years. So 7 years later, I barely message throughout the day, and then if I see you at night, I guess it would be maybe in the beginning of our dating, it was every couple of days maybe texting, and when he wasn't living with me, it was maybe every other day or once a day. But I think it kind of depends on what you're talking about and how busy you are. Because like if I'm extremely busy, I'm not messaging, but in my mind, I know that I'm not messaging because I'm extremely busy. So I have to apply that filter to if somebody is not messaging me, I have to use that as a challenge of like, okay, bitch, well, you were busy too.
There's so many key things though to remember. First and foremost, just because we have access to our phones and are able to text 24/7 does not mean that we have the capability to do that. So in the beginning of mine and Mari's friendship, well, we worked together 40 plus hours a week, but like we would always like rapid fire text each other. So if one of us didn't respond, it was weird because that was like already like the expectation of like, no, she's going to respond no matter what. Like she's always available to me. Right.
Well, we also
now we have Marco Polo. Huh?
So we were also trying to escape our lives.
Yes.
I was like, what was she saying? Oh my God, let me do that.
Yes. Now we have Marco Polo, thankfully, where we can just do videos back and forth. But even like we text throughout the day, but there's days that I don't hear from her. Or if she's like on vacation, I don't hear from her till she gets back, which is very depressing. But I also respect it because she's on vacation.
I'm sorry. You're about to have
I know. I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Especially because you'd be like a fucking 82 hours ahead of me or whatever. I don't want to think about it. Anyways. But so I try to explain this to people. Sometimes we make these assumptions based on what we would do, right? So again, I use this example all the time because it's funny, but like my dad is notorious for just sending back K. I don't take that personal. If I send somebody K, you better read between the motherfucking lines. I don't want to talk to you. Okay.
You know what I meant.
That I'm fucking irritated. Yes. Right. But like, I don't take it personal from my dad, but also I'm making that assumption that everybody else in the world means the same thing as I do when I do X, Y, Z. So if she's internalizing that, like he's disinterested because we're not talking, is that because that's what you would do if you started to lose interest? You know what I'm saying?
Which then goes to that first part of the question of cutoff culture of like, are we ghosting people? Or are we just not saying anything? So
I think it also depends on like, I don't know how old she is. Also depending on my mood. If my mood is not great, I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to text people. Doesn't matter who you are. I don't want to talk. Like, I just really don't. And then people who are close to me know that and they're okay with it. Other people might feel some type of way about it. Like Mari said earlier, I'm not responsible for their feelings, especially if I've communicated, like, I don't really feel like talking. Younger insecure me, and honey, I'm not calling you insecure. I'm owning how I was when I was younger. I needed that contact all the time.
Same.
I needed you to tell me that you loved me all the time, right? Like I needed that reassurance and validation that you were there and weren't going anywhere. I think that comes from a lot of different things. Not that I don't like reassurance now as an adult about certain things, but I don't feel like I would need it now.
I need it.
No, you don't. Not like that.
It's not like that. Not
I don't think he's going anywhere.
Oh God, no. But I still like to hear but that's my love language. I think this is also a big thing too of like knowing what your love language is. I love languages, words of affirmation. I want to know. I can hear you.
Yeah.
You hear me? Okay. Yeah. I was like,
you pause like this.
You were drinking, and I was like, she's drinking for a long time. I was like, cool. What's going on? Yeah. Anyways, but like,
you want to know.
Yeah, I do want to know. But like, I also still tailor that with people are not going to be accessible all day, every day. And that is a fallacy that social media has given to us that people will just be on all the time, every day, like just accessible. That's not reality. So I feel like that sums up the second part. Okay. Third part
would be how to, excuse me, I would say how to possibly deter or challenge these anxious spirals that we can get into when somebody is less communicative. First and foremost, focus on what is within your control, which is you. you have zero control over what another person is doing. So if you are feeling some type of way, what is your responsibility and within your control is that you communicate that, right? Whether it's you're asking a question or if you're wanting to talk to them, but they're not texting you, then you can text them. And this whole idea of like, well, I don't want to look needy. I don't want to look desperate. We're not even promised 5 minutes from now. Can we just like stop with that? You know what I'm saying? Unless you're sending 32,416 texts a day, I think you're okay.
Yep. And I would just like to highlight our cognitive error episodes and our, we have another episode on this. I can't think what it is, but the cognitive error episode of how to, basically is talking about how to stop these thought spirals. You have to take the negative thought that you are thinking and put it on paper and challenge it. So if you are thinking this negative thought, well, like, oh, this person hates me, give me facts that prove that that's true. Put it on paper. Stop, please, please, please stop doing the shit in your head. First and foremost, you can't do it in your head. You cannot. Put it on paper, look at it actually on the paper, facts that prove that it's true, situations and examples that prove that it's not true, write it down and actually fucking challenge it and follow it through all the way to the reworked thought. Your reworked thought is not going to be about somebody else, an automatic flip, or an action statement. So if the negative thought is give me a negative thought that would pertain to this situation.
He's not interested in me anymore.
Give me facts that prove that that's true, right? Okay, facts would look like him saying, I'm not interested in you. Him saying like, hey, I don't want to have a relationship.
Him making a date and then constantly canceling. Like you're scheduling and canceling, scheduling and canceling.
Well, but like even then, you don't know because shit come up. You don't know what's in somebody's fucking life. So it could be like you see a text message of him like texting his friend saying that he is not into you. Whatever that, those would be facts. So then situations and examples that prove that that thought isn't true, like does he like he is messaging you or he's trying to schedule dates or he's rescheduling or he's doing these other things, like whatever that it may be, but then also go outside of that. This, think of other situations where you thought, oh man, I'm 100% sure on this. And it was proven wrong. Come up with a reworked thought. So what was the negative thought again?
He's not interested in me anymore.
Okay. I'm not in control of other people's perceptions of me. So first and foremost, I'm not living my life to be based off of someone else's perception of me. If this person doesn't like me, that's completely okay. There's going to be another 1,000 motherfuckers who want to date me, who like me or whatever. And they may not all be lined up at one time. They may not be, rapping at the door. But here's the thing. At some point in my life, I'm going to encounter these people. The other episode I was trying to think of was Walking the Middle Path. I can't remember if that's a PS episode or not.
I don't think we've done one on Walking the Middle Path. We just did one on how to get out of your own head.
I felt like we did in the very early days.
We did the 3 states of mind.
I remember that one. Well, maybe we didn't. But Walking the Middle Path is balancing between this acceptance and change of like accepting that, okay, maybe our communication has dropped and now I have to accept that before I can start to move towards change of like checking out and asking somebody like, hey, story I'm telling myself is a lot of people don't want to use Brene Brown's rumble language, which whatever, fuck you, because it's phenomenal. Because I would say, the story I'm telling myself is that, you don't really want to do this anymore. Communication has dropped and I'm leading myself to believe that, we're over, that we're done or whatever that it is. Vulnerable moment there. If that person responds, amazing. But if they don't, at least you're validating yourself. You're having that conversation for yourself. And if they respond, amazing. But if they don't, then it's like, okay, that's a fucking flag though. Of like, if you can't join me in this vulnerable conversation to sit here and help me challenge my thoughts, and not even like help me challenge my thoughts, but to come back and be like, no, that's not what I meant at all. Like, blah, 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 blah. Have a conversation. Then what are we doing here? I don't want to be in a relationship where I can't have that conversation.
I've suggested things like this to clients and then their responses, but I don't think I want to know. Then you can't complain.
Yeah, then you shut up.
You're actively choosing to continue to do this without getting any answers. Like
exactly.
That's your option.
Exactly. That's like people, well, I don't want to go to the doctor because just in case.
I want to lose weight, but I don't want to like eat healthy and work out. Okay.
No, I mean, in the sense of like this mole looks weird, but I don't want to go to the doctor to find out. Here's the thing, you waiting, not going to make a different determination. If it's cancer, it's still going to be cancer, whether you find out today or 4 months from now.
Yep.
So you might as well find out now where you can cut it off and figure it out and have a whole 4-month game plan before the fact that, you know, whatever. The same goes, I would rather find out at the beginning of a relationship that this person can't communicate with me and that we don't need to be doing this anymore versus 6 months in when I'm going to start making fucking excuses for this shit ass behavior.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at you, all of our friends that come and talk to us about this dumbass shit, making excuses for this shit ass behavior, trash ass behavior.
Mm-hmm. So to sum it up,
Sophia, why are you texting me right now? You know that I'm recording.
To sum it up,
yes,
neither one of us believes in just cutting people off without explanation.
No. I believe in having a conversation about your boundary to validate yourself.
Yes, I'm not asking you to beat a dead horse and say this multiple times and like explain yourself over and over. Just simply communicate, this isn't for me.
Right. And to set your boundary, right? Of communicating how you feel and what your boundary is and whether that person believes in it or not, or agrees with it or not. That's not the reason why we're having the conversation. But we're not just going to fucking ghost people or just be like, oh, I'm done with them. If you didn't say anything to them, then like, that's on you, boo.
The appropriate amount of communication, I think, is dependent on each person. I think I would just encourage you to explore where the need for immense amount of communication is coming from, right? If you are somebody who is like overly communicative and like loves to talk and engage, call a spade and say that and say like, I love to ask questions. I love to talk. I'm a really talkative person. I do text a lot. That's okay. That's okay. But check yourself to see if the need for all of this is because you're needing validation or because you're needing the reassurance because you're anxious about something. Does that make sense?
Yep, 100%.
And then the last part in terms of kind of deterring or getting out of a thought spiral, you know, challenging it with the cognitive errors episodes that we've done that we walk you through literally how to do it. And first and foremost, when it comes to anything anxiety related, is bringing it back to what is within your control. Because we get real fucking wrapped up in all the shit that's outside of our control that we wish was different. We wish we could change it. We wish, blah, blah. That's not going to change anything though. I am in control of me and my reactions and what I do. That's it.
I had a fucking point. Oh, when talking to people, when talking to clients about this, when we're talking about like what's within my control, view what's in your control, look at the emotions that are coming in and the data points that they are trying to tell you. If you view emotions as data points, as it's just trying to tell you something, nothing else, don't give it any weight, but just what is this emotion trying to tell me? And go with that. So if the emotion is trying to say like, well, I feel anxious about this, I want to control something. So then view an action as such of what can I do that's within my control. I can move my body. I can listen to a podcast. I can read a book. I can color. I can do a puzzle. I can take a cold shower. All of these things that are within your control, you can do. And it's giving your brain and body what it's asking for. Because that emotion is just a data point. That's all that it is.
Yep.
Does that make sense? Okay. So you can find us at Rewriting Her Story Podcast on Instagram. You can find us at Rewriting Her Story Podcast on YouTube as well. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, you can email us at rewritingherstorypodcast@gmail.com. You can message me or Steph. Well, message the podcast page, but you can find Steph at The Spooky Therapist on Instagram and me at BEA_XO11. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.